So you said, you brought these up and I mentioned in your bio, you champion affordable housing, government transparency, and environmental preservation. And you touched on a little bit of what was going on in the city for why you champion those things. Did you notice when you say no one was talking about it, did you really lead the charge with bringing it to the conversation when you started campaigning? What was that like, bringing like a whole new type of conversation to the political sphere?
Well, it was a little scary. I mean, for a couple of reasons, right? Because number one, I was very young, right? I mean, I was 22. I wasn't even technically, a college graduate yet. I was still technically in college when I started running, and I was 22 years old. I had lived in Marquette my whole life, so I knew the community very well. And I'd been involved a little bit in local politics, just like volunteering and stuff when I was in high school and college. But um, it was a little intimidating to be bringing up some of these issues that other people weren't talking about. Some of the more established figures in the community, a lot of people who are currently on the commission weren't really discussing or prioritizing, because there was always that fear, I think, that people would just discount what I had to say because of my age and my relative inexperience. And then also, I think that I was a little worried, as well, like coming back home after going to Harvard. Like I talked to the first person when I knocked on their door when I was running in like the middle of the winter in January 2019. um, I was talking to a woman who answered her door, and she said, uh, well, like, why are you knocking on my door in the middle of the winter? Number one, are you even old enough to vote, much less run for city commission? And then she looked at the little piece of information that I gave her, the little piece of literature, and she was like reading it a little bit. She's like, "You went to Harvard? Well, what the heck are you doing here?" Like, and like, so that I was worried about that too, because I was worried people wouldn't really get what I was trying to do. And then, finally, there was always that concern that maybe people just like wouldn't connect with the issues that I was talking about. But I think deep down, I knew that campaigning on these issues like housing affordability, preserving our lakeshore, preserving our natural environment, trying to increase government transparency, trying to create some more economic opportunity as well for younger people who want to stay in Marquette, because it's a great place to live. There's just not a lot of opportunity. I mean, those are things that I knew people were talking about around like the proverbial kitchen table, right? And they were talking about in the bar, they were talking about with their friends and their family. But the city council, the city commission wasn't talking about it necessarily. The city government wasn't talking about it necessarily. And so I do think that by running, I did, to an extent, sort of force other candidates in the race and other folks on the commission to start talking about some of these issues. And I think it just kind of goes to show, like, when we can talk later a little bit about what I think some of the takeaways are for other young folks and members of Gen Z that are interested in public service. But like, I think one of the biggest things is like, just start the conversation. If it, and you can really change a lot of people's minds just by making good arguments for good ideas.